with Gravedigger, well, known as Dennis Anderson, but the driver for Gravedigger, Monster Truck World Finals coming up Friday and Saturday. Double down on, that's what I like to do, because that Friday is really a great chance to get and see all the drivers up close.
Yeah. Well, it is. For one thing, it's a big crowd. You know,
Yeah.
the World Finals, when you say World Finals Monster Jam, that is the biggest in the business. And it is, it's huge. And when you do the double down package, it's kind of like getting the speedy pass. You know what I mean? It's like you're not dealing with, 50,000 people. We only have, 6,000, 7,000 people there. So it's not as bad. But, you come through the pits. We've got, we've got over 50 monster trucks out there, all kinds of games, and we've got a barbecue, the whole deal. And it's a good package. It's a good package for the family. And, and it's like when you look at the double down and the people that come, and where they come from, it's unbelievable.
Well, it's amazing that you say that, because I must admit, 5 years ago, I'd never been to a monster truck of any type. And I have a friend up in Eugene, Oregon, and his boys are huge into it. I mean, they go to all of it, and they said, we're coming down, and I've got a kid at that time. He was 5 years old. I'm like, well, okay, I'll go. I mean, I'll go to anything.
Right.
And I thought, I'm not going to like this. I'm not a car guy, not a gearhead, I like the drag races, they're fun and everything, but all of a sudden I went there and I've been hooked ever since. I've gone every year afterwards because, it's all right there, and it's just what guys and I guess kids and women like. It's just destruction,
Right, it is, and and it's like, and you just, in saying what you just said, it's like the kids, man, I'm telling you, it's like, in the beginning, it was just the good old guys with big jacked up trucks and a dog box and dual exhaust, in the back of their trucks that used to come to our events. We have all walks of people, but the kids are the ones that turn the parents into fans now. Once they come, everybody's hooked. You will come back to a Monster Jam.
Well, now, and it's funny because they have all the videos and DVDs, and I watched them with the kids and everything.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's cool. I like it. But there's something about being there. It's like being at a rock concert. You can feel the rumble in your chest.
Exactly.
It's a blast. 2008, going back a few years, we were right in the corner, and you were just coming off of one of your tricks, and all of a sudden, and I had my camera just set perfectly. I wish I could say I was a great photographer, but click, and your whole cabin was on fire.
Yes.
Of the truck. And we were like...
I remember it because, look, I don't hardly have any eyebrows anyway, but it took what little bit I had and turned them to powder. And really I didn't have a fire stocking on at the time when I'd done that. And in which now we do wear them, but I just stuck my arm over my face. I was protected everywhere else, but that was a pretty intense fire, and it was kind of a flashball fire, and it singed my, part of my mustache, and burnt my eyebrows off, and put a little bit of hair on my arms. It got that, but it was the heat went right away. It was just enough to burn the hair, and that was it.
Now, is there a kill switch back? Is that how they just kill it and the fuel's done?
Yes. We have a we got a switch on the back of the chassis. Plus, they've got a remote ignition interrupter. So there's officials all over the stands in four corners of the track that can shut us down from over a half a mile away. So they just shut the whole system right down. And the next thing you do is you just start bailing. But there's an onboard fire system also that you pull a pin and hit a button, and it's halon. It comes out and it'll snuff the fire out. But normally when it's just a flash ball like that, I don't worry about that. I start scrambling and get on out of there.
I can't imagine having a ball of flame in your face going, okay, now wait, I got to pull a pin now. I got to do all this.
Right, exactly.
Because I know what I'm doing. What the heck? But the amazing thing is, we were like, oh my gosh, I think, then you're with kids, you're like, and you come popping out, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The heat was on, but it was good. It was all right.
They're a little bit more sturdy stock than a radio guy, I think.
Right.
But that's a lot of fun. Do you get to see the course as it's going to be? I know there's, qualifying on Friday and things like that.
Right.
But how much do you know ahead of time?
Well, we know, it's like we know coming into the world that the world is going to be the biggest obstacles all year long. It has to be like that. We have to raise the bar. And when we come out, it's like today, I have been around that track for probably about an hour and a half, just, zoning and zooming in on all the obstacles out there and kind of stepping off and seeing how wide the lanes are, checking it out for racing, just see what's going to be the best lane, and try to figure out some kind of a freestyle moves. Because freestyle is kind of technical now. I got a panel of judges, and we're not just goofing off and just ripping it up. We have to live on the clock. You know what I mean? So we have to run this clock out and get down to your bonus round, and you have to make this show work. So it's kind of like a fireworks. You got to start off just popping off a little bit, and at the end you just go into this madness of grand finale that's going to, all the judges and the fans to be able to win. And it's tough, man, because we have 24 of the top monster trucks competing, for the World Finals. So, our work is cut out for us. I don't care if I've been doing it for 29 years. It's still tough.
It seems like in NASCAR, a lot of the drivers are really chippy towards each other. And maybe that's because, they're cutting each other off. You guys, when you're racing, you're on separate things. But it seems like you guys have genuine respect for each other. And also, now, granted, I don't follow you guys around the country, but it seems like you guys are almost pals.
Yeah, we are. Back in the pits, man, we, my team would jump over and help another team. Their teams jump over and help us. So we really are. We're buds back in the pit. But, honestly, when we get out on the racetrack, we want to win, and we do want to grind it in. You know what I mean? It's like once we win, we want to let that other team know that, hey, that's right, buddy, we left the mark and we're here, So, but, and the same respect, if one team fails and goes down and they're not going to get back in, they'll give up their part so you can get back in there and stay in the competition. And it's always been like that in monster trucking, and it's kind of like the show must go on.
Well, I know where I will be Saturday night. I will be at, and I've got to do my voice, Sam Boyd Stadium, monster truck.
Yes, fire and thunder under the lights. Axle ring and piston popping, grave digging action.
I think he outdid me on the voice. But I will say this, like I said before, if you're not a fan, go, and I swear you'll become a fan. And really, I would say kids anywhere from... Maybe I protect my kids too much, but I mean, like I said, the first one he ever went to, he was 5 years old, and
right.
He dug it. And like I said, his birthday always falls right on this time of year, and every year it's like, what do you want as a birthday present? He's like, oh, we're going to Monster Jam.
Right
and I'm
on.
like, okay,
that is
we'll go.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun. I noticed some of the injuries that you had. We talked about the fire and everything, but one year your son had to drive for you, right? Because
yes.
Was that a shoulder injury? Or?
Yeah, I broke my shoulder. I sure did. I broke my shoulder and some ribs, and I've been in the business for a long time, and people go, God, man, you've been hurt a lot, and I really haven't. I've been hurt maybe about 8 times that I've broke some bones and been in the hospital, but I've been doing it for 29 years, and 29 years I've probably been in 3,000 wrecks, so the score is pretty good there, and I broke my nose a couple of times. I broke my hand, my arm, my shoulder, my ribs. I broke my knee. I broke my foot, my toes, cramming into the pedal. But it's just but it's a learning curve too. It's like we've got all kinds of new innovation in safety. The seats, the belts, the Hans devices, all this cool stuff, man. That's like I'm 50 years old and I'm still driving a truck like I'm 25 years old because of all of our safety equipment.
I'm 45. I've never broken a bone in my body. I was a tennis player, and I hurt every day when I wake up. Look how he's mocking me already. But I hurt every day. I can't imagine. Here you are, so much older than me.
Right.
But, I mean, I just can't imagine with all those injuries and everything, and you just keep getting in that truck and keep going.
Right. Well, I don't know, and sometimes I look at it, too, and just think, how come... I really can't figure out sometimes why it really doesn't beat me up as bad, because obviously I'm not the guy that's down at the gym pumping iron. I might be at Biscuit World or something, but
Right.
You know what I mean. And I'm in fair shape, but it really does not bother me. It really doesn't bother me at all. My truck used to hurt me 20 years ago. It was killing me. Today it's not. It's because of new innovations.
Finally, I get on the freeway. We all drive on the freeway, and it's just frustrating. You're there on the Beltway, and the traffic's backed up and everything. I can't imagine. I know you said you just drove out here. I can't imagine, driving a monster truck anytime you want, just taking a ride over those cars. I mean, how frustrating is it for you?
It is, man. And we think about it. People always ask me the same thing, too. And it's like, it's for the rude driver out there. It's when I like to pull out my monster truck.
Right. See somebody flick on a cigarette.
Yeah. Or it's like, and when you're from out of state and you've got your signal on and you're looking at directions or, you're trying to figure out where you're at, and they don't even give you a break and they're just honking their horn. That's when I'd love to have something big just to drive right over the side of them. Or, just getting in a traffic jam, bumper to bumper and looking at your watch going, God, man, we got to rock it and get out of here. I used to always say the GW Bridge in New York. If I ever broke it out, that would be where it would be.
But I guess the gas mileage is, they don't measure it per mile, it's per foot.
Per
really.
foot, exactly.
Yeah.
it's not very good.
How big is the tank on one of those things?
They've got a 15-gallon tank on them.
So when you go out, it's 15?
Yeah, it's 15 gallons when we take it out, and and we usually burn down. We'll go out and make a pass, and we'll burn down close to 5 gallons a pass. For the World Finals. So we'll come back and keep another jug in it.
Well, that's that. And one last thing about the World Final. What's so great about that is when it's the race, all of a sudden they wind up outside the stadium. And you can hear them coming in, and the crowd just goes crazy.
Right.
And all of a sudden, there they are. They're popping out. It's a great time.
It is, and the monster trucks, and they're big old monsters, but we're running 70 miles an hour coming down the straightaways in the stadium out there, and that's a pretty good speed for a 10,000-pound truck that you've got to get through a J turn
right
at the end of the track down there.